Greetings, Neo-Swedenborgians. Well, I did an episode where I was speaking Neo-Swedenborgianistically about different subjects. Or I was answering different questions Neo-Swedenborgianistically. So I think I started with the first one was, what do actual Swedenborgians think of Neo-Swedenborgians? And the answer was, that actual Swedenborgians are used to people like me because they're familiar with this idea of a reader of Swedenborg. That's the general answer. The more specific answer is that there's only 3 of us, Neo-Swedenborgians, so Swedenborgians have never actually heard of us, so they have not formed an opinion yet. But that's a previous episode. Today I'm going to speak on 2 questions. There's this riddle, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So, I'm saying that Neo-Swedenborgianism has new and valuable answers. So I'm going to apply it to a bunch of different questions. Which came first? This is my question for today. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? This is a riddle because in order to have a chicken, you have to have an egg. But in order to have an egg, you have to have a chicken. And it gets you thinking, well, now I have an answer and I'll get to it in like 30 seconds. But first I want to say that to apply this idea of Neo-Swedenborgianism, it could be that one came first, but the other seems to have come first. So if we're going to talk about heaven and all that, well, which came first, mankind or heaven? Well, let's just say mankind came first, heaven came second, but everybody agrees, it appears that heaven came first, right? So which came first, the chicken or the egg? I have the answer to that, actually. The answer is that the egg came first because what happened, we're talking about the chicken being a mutation of some previous thing, and there were lots of eggs before there were chickens. So different reptiles and different birds laid eggs, and one day an egg came out of some creature and it cracked open and it was a chicken. There was a genetic mutation that turned it into what we today call a chicken. But that egg came first and lots of other eggs came first. So the question is, speaking Neo-Swedenborgianistically, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, we've solved that riddle. The egg came first. There were eggs before there were chickens. The chicken, the very first chicken, came out of an egg. The thing that laid that egg was not a chicken. This is simple evolution. So anyway, that question's answered. The other thing I wanted to address was this idea, this phrase we hear that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Okay, so somebody will sometimes proclaim that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Now, first of all, that is not actually the definition of insanity. If you look up insanity in the dictionary, it will not say that. And second of all, because of the world we live in and the very nature and reality of the world we live in, that is also not insanity, because to do the same thing over and over again, you are guaranteed to get different results sooner or later, right? Now, I had 2 previous examples which were a little more mundane. Like, for example, let's say you have a little plant in your backyard and you go out and you water it over and over again and you keep expecting different results. And it's a tree, let's say. You water this tree over and over again. And then 15 years of this, 15 years later, your tree bears fruit and you have beautiful, let's say, apricots. Sweet, delicious apricots. Now, you did the same thing over and over again and you expected different results, and by you got different results. Or digging a well, for example. You go out and you want to dig a well and you spend all day digging. You don't get anywhere. I mean, you get somewhere, but you don't get any water. You dig the whole next day and you keep this up day after day. You do the same thing day after day and you keep expecting different results. That's not insane. That's perseverance. That's diligence. Now, those are two easy examples, but the other thing is that just the way the world works, yeah, you're going to get different results. Do the same thing over and over again. You will get a different result sooner or later. I guess that's enough for today. Thanks. See ya. Bye.